This is Houston. Say again, please.
Houston, we've had a problem.
Hey there guys, welcome to another vlog, and today we're going to be talking about Killzone Shadow Fall. I say we're going to be talking, I'm going to be talking. You know what I meant. I was kind of looking forward to this game. It was a launch game for the PS4, so it's been out a fair while now. And I'd seen all the footage of it and it looked gorgeous, so I was really excited about it from that perspective, but I wasn't sure what to expect from the gameplay side. Now, the other two that I'd played, 2 and 3, I've never played the original, but 2 and 3 were basically run and gun FPS games, and they were really competing, I guess, with COD and other such FPS action shooters. So they were fun, they were epic, you felt like you were in a movie, especially with the third one. The second one was quite repetitive, but the third one mixed itself up really well, and the story kind of closed itself off at the end of the third one, so I was quite interested to see what they were doing with this. And it was quite clever what they did with the story, and you could tell that as a studio, I don't think they wanted to make another game like the other two. I think they felt like they'd done that. So they obviously, as being a Sony studio, they were obviously, I think, nudged toward doing one for launch, so they had a launch title to go with. So I think in meetings they obviously said, look, okay, let's do another Killzone game, but let's try and make it different, try and make it more interesting, try and make it different from the ones we've done before, so that people are, you know, because it never kind of became the franchise I think they wanted it to be. So with this, I think it was, I don't know if we'll see another Killzone, to be honest. This smells to me like this was a nice way to launch the PlayStation with an exclusive, and a nice way to see the Killzone franchise sort of just dwindle away happy. So what was nice about this one was that they didn't go for the gung-ho all-out shooter. There are big shooting moments in it, but actually you can get a lot of areas in this game where your best friend is going to be stealth. So it's still all in first person, but the gameplay is really smooth. You can go all gung-ho if you want to, but actually taking people out from distance, sneaking up on people and you know, using the knife, all that sort of stuff's dead handy. Now, the genius in this game, and the bit that I love the most, is the tool that they gave you, which was the owl, it's called. And it's almost like a... I never quite got how this all worked. It's all newfangled technology, if you ask me. But it's almost like a holographic type thing that you can create, but it's solid. And you push the owl out, and you can send it off, and it's like a cubed type thing, and it shoots off, and it can do certain functions for you. So it can shoot out a zip line for you to fly down from one area to another, or it can go off and it can send out an electric pulse to people and sort of, you know, electric shock them. It can use real weapons and real bullets and shoot at them. So you can use it not necessarily to take out areas of people, but you can use it to distract so that you can get round the other side. So you can use it as a flanking type weapon, and it works really well. And they tied it to the new touchpad on the PS4. So you swiped the touchpad to the right for one function, left for the other, up and down. So dead simple, worked really smoothly, was gorgeous to use, and it never grew old, you know. So it's sort of like, oh, how am I going to get in there? Right, owl, you know, send the owl out that way and pull the people over there. I'm going to go over this way and sneak round the back. And it was brilliant. It just worked really, really well, and it's your best friend throughout the game. There are little segments there are tiny segments where you don't have the owl, because you have to go in without sort of kit, you know, like proper stealth bits. But they're very few and far between. You usually have your owl with you. So I loved that. It was something I hadn't seen. I can't think of another game where there was a similar type thing off the top of my head. But it was absolutely brilliant. And the story pans out really, really well in this game, because it starts off, you actually start off as a kid, which I think I've only ever seen before in Fallout 3, which was genius in that game. And in this game, it's not quite as sort of deep as that at the beginning of this game. But what it does do is introduce you to your character as a kid and see what happened and why you have such a sort of hatred for the Helghast, and why you are without question following this captain of yours, or general, I can't forget what he is, but he's a captain or a general, but this you follow him unquestionably, and you take every order he gives you and you go off and you do it. And that's all thrown into question throughout the story because he meets up with a girl, funnily enough, who is a bit of an uber assassin herself from the Helghast side. I think she's actually half and half. She's half human, half Helghast. But she is very well tied to the Helghast side for reasons that I won't go into and spoil the game for you. So you kind of connect with this character, and she throws into question all the stuff that you've been doing. You think you've been doing good for the world, and in actual fact you start questioning, well, what have I actually been fighting for here? What is it? You know, so the story kind of really grabs your interest. The funny thing is, I liked this game the first time I played it, but I loved it the second time I played it, and I'm not sure why it was. I've still tried to figure that out. Maybe it was the frame of mind I was in, maybe it was because there was so much going on at the time of the launch of the consoles. I'd already had the Xbox One arrive, and then the PS4 arrived. I had I know there wasn't a huge amount of games at launch, but I had quite a lot going on at that point anyway. So I think maybe it was just because I had more time to spend with it. I took my time with it. I just kind of, I don't know, I soaked it all up a bit more. There's loads and loads of environments in this game as well. I mean, one minute you're on the planet, next minute you're in space, next minute you're at the Helghast old homeworld. There's a really wide variety of places it throws you, which keeps the interest up. Jumping between that and the stealth sections with the action sections and little story sections, and it just all kind of worked for me, and it looks spectacular. I mean, when it came out, I think it was something like 45 gig to install it, and they had to reel it in a bit, otherwise it wouldn't have fitted on one Blu-ray. I think it was part of something that I heard pre-launch. So they clearly had put everything into making this game look gorgeous, and it does look absolutely stunning, and you'll see on this footage behind me blabbing away just how gorgeous this game looks. So this and Rise Son of Rome certainly for both consoles showed off what both of them can do, and they both looked absolutely just gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous. The other tool that they give you to go alongside with the owl is you have a primary weapon which has... I liked it actually because it saved you having to swap weapons. The primary weapon has a sniper ability, and you can rein it in to be just back to an automatic rifle. So I really liked that, and you never wanted to let it go. You can pick up the enemy's weapons and all that sort of stuff. So if you run low on ammo, you can pick things up. So, and you can carry two weapons as well. So you can always have kind of a backup, but you never really wanted your primary weapon to run out because it was really cool to use. I loved it, absolutely loved it. So from that perspective, they got all the kit right. It was dead simple as well. You didn't feel like you had to spend any time in menus, or you didn't, and at the same time you didn't feel like you were missing not upgrading stuff. Do you know what I mean? They just didn't provide you with anything monumental to upgrade. They just gave you the kit you needed to have fun. And for me, it worked for that sort of game. I didn't want to spend much time in a menu. I just wanted to see the story through. I wanted to enjoy the gameplay, and they did it really, really well. It was an absolute. I loved that game. I had a really, really good time in it. So I can absolutely recommend it. If you haven't played it yet, I have seen this game for I think 25 quid on some websites new now. It is really cheap because it was a launch title. It's obviously run out of Steam now. So if you haven't played it, even if you're not an first-person player, I'm not a huge first-person player, but I love that. I had a really good time in it. So for the sort of price you'll get it at now, absolutely give it a go. I can't recommend it more. Absolutely fantastic. So there you go. That was my opinions on Killzone Shadow Fall. Hope you've enjoyed this vlog and you're enjoying the channel, and I will make another vlog or another gameplay or another piece of random nonsense soon, and I'll speak to you all soon. Take it easy. Bye.